Boutte of
Well,
5 minutes, if you could.
thanks, Governor. I would like to just go back to my colleague, Mr. Leipert, on the question about the debt, the provincial debts, and you've answered the federal debt part of it. Should we care about the debt of the provinces? And as you are the Governor of Bank of Canada, do you care? How much do you care about the debt that the provinces are carrying right now?
Well, I think that the Bank of Canada, we care about all of these things. There's no question about that. And I don't mean to oversimplify when talking about only the federal debt situation, because obviously the provinces are also borrowing on international capital markets, and that debt counts too. That, well, I agree with you that it matters. It matters, but I don't have some specific numbers for you that is a bright line that we should be worried about.
Okay. In your April report, you said you expect 0.5% this year and 0.6% next year as a return from stimulus. TD Bank expects 0.1% and 0.3% respectively. Why is such a difference between your expectations and TD Bank expectations?
Oh, you said it was TD Bank?
TD Bank, Toronto Dominion.
Well, all I can say is that every economist and every economics team does their own analysis, and this is less a matter of opinion, but more a matter of modeling and the assumptions that go in them. So there can be many reasons why two different estimates could differ. Traditionally, the kinds of models that we use would show that if there was a government fiscal expansion, there would be a tendency for interest rates to rise in response to this, and would actually cut off some of the effect. If you look at any model that economists use, it will give you this result. But what's important is that you take the model into today's context. Today's context is one in which the economy has a great deal of excess capacity, whereas the original analysis would be where the economy is more or less where it belongs. So you get this kind of adjustment that happens. When you're in a situation like we find ourselves in today, where interest rates are very low, where there's indeed a risk, as we talked last week, that interest rates would need to be adjusted lower in order to get our inflation on target. In that context, you don't have those kinds of offsets that you often have in a standard model. So it is why we say that the mix of policy is such that fiscal policy has quite an advantage in this situation compared to monetary policy. Nevertheless, they both can work on the same issue at the same time, and it gives you a better mix than you would otherwise have. So all those possibilities are open. I'm not going to debate a specific estimate with you, but the economists are like that.
I'm not going to go and say who should we believe or should we,
No.
But my third question is a shorter question.
Yeah,
quickly.
I believe, Ziad, you'll get a little bit different analysis. I see the parliamentary budget officer standing back there as well. I think he'll have a little different estimate too. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Okay, you said that child benefits would or should drive retail sales up. Birth retail sales fell off by 0.1% in August for 3 months, also 3 months straight. Do you have any opinion of why this is happening? I mean, and why we're also, retail sales is driving down?
Well, I know why we had a decline in August. It was mostly because of automobile sales. And I don't think that the child benefit would be the thing I'd be using to buy an automobile. So I'm not sure we're getting a direct reading on that yet. I'd like to see a little more time. The checks have only been out there for a couple of months relative to the data. So, and maybe it's more of a back to school thing. I don't know. Well, we'll have to give it a little more time. We can never make a conclusion off of one or two data points. These are very noisy data, and always are. That's the problem economists have, seeing through the noise.
Do I have a
very short one?
very short? Same on child benefits. I know this is one of the measures that should do a quick impact on enhancing the economy, improving the economy, the immediate stuff, at least to hold on, and then the kicks will continue to be. Nothing has made an impact, rather than we've seen a negative impact or a negative turn. Why? Like, instead of having at least a little bit of boost, regardless of how small or big it is, we've seen the opposite. How come?
I'm going to disagree with you there. We simply do not have the data to support a conclusion like that at this stage. It's simply too early to make any conclusion about how that fiscal impact will play out. None. It's just too soon.
We'll